Hey guys, for our writing lesson today, we're still working on our fairy tales. Okay, I've seen some of your guys' writing in the planning guide that you guys have done. Some of you have even shared your um, your sheet that we've been working on. So you guys have been doing fabulous work. Very proud of you. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about still on your fairy tales, but how you're adapting and maybe some strategies that you can use while you're doing your fairy tale. Okay. One of the things that you can do while you're doing your fairy tale is rehearse scenes and use a narrating voice. Like when you read a book, you're reading a book and like, once upon a time, there was a little bear, a little girl named Goldilocks, and she lived by herself. And she went and she found this house. So you're doing it in a narrating voice, kind of like when we talked about a reporter's voice, right? You use a different type of voice. So practice that in your narrating voice and even acting out some of the scenes. You guys have seen movies and you know how to act. You play whatever and you're acting out the scene. So you can do that with your writing. You can think about what you want to write and then act it out, even saying the words out loud. Like if we were looking at maybe like a Cinderella story, we can say, one sunny afternoon, Cinderella was folding her stepsister's gowns. She had a whole mountain of laundry to fold. Then all of a sudden the doorbell rang. You lazy girl, the mean stepsister said to Cinderella, go get the mail. Hurry up. Don't waste time. Cinderella went to the door, and when she opened it, no one was there. She looked left, right, and then down. Then on her doorstep was a letter. Well, her stepsister said, who's there and what did they want? Cinderella picked up the letter and then handed it to her stepsister. It's an invitation from our town's mayor. It says save the library on the envelope. Her stepsister looked at Cinderella and smirked. I don't know what you're getting excited about. You're not going anywhere dressed in rags and dirt. And besides, who cares about a library? She ripped the invitation in two and threw it into the trash. A library? How ridiculous. Cinderella returned to folding her mountain of laundry. It's not ridiculous, Cinderella thought. Taking a deep breath, Cinderella said, may I go? So that can be something that you do in your own. As you're writing and you're planning these things out, try acting it out, rehearse it a little bit, and even say these things out loud. And you can do this in the middle of your story, not just at the beginning. As you're writing your story and you're coming to a part, especially if you get kind of stuck, kind of rehearse it. You can still use your planning guide, which is a valuable tool. And I'd seen the one that you had done, some of you have done online. So that's great. You can get to the middle of your story and you get stuck, just like you do at the beginning as you brainstorm, rehearse. And that will help when you're doing that, just like when you're writing your fiction stories. Remember, fiction stories are stories that aren't true. Your fairy tales, they're stories that aren't true. When you're writing those, remember to do the small moments or the scenes. Sometimes it helps to not only act out each small moment before you write it, it'll help you do that. And I'm going to give you a couple of tips as well. These are also in our notes. The first tip is that when you act out a scene, you not only need to act out or show what the character says, but also what the character does. And that one that I was just showing you, the Cinderella, she was folding mounds of laundry. She went out to get the mail. So you're not just saying what the character says, but also what they do. Think about some of the books that we read, the mystery books and those things. It not just said what the characters said, also said what they did. So remember, even if you make tiny little corrections, that can make a big difference in your story. So little actions and the little things that you're adapting in your fairy tale, those can make really big changes and moments in your story. Okay. And then the second one is that you're also trying to bring where they live, wherever they're at, to life. And so always make sure that you know where your character is at and what happens nearby, right? And you also want to what that place feels like. So when I just read, kind of that was if that was when we were working on, or I was working on Cinderella. She was at home. She was folding her laundry. She heard the doorbell ring, like we have doorbells here. And then she went to go see it, and her sisters were still being mean to her, like in the traditional fairy tale. But there's those things that we knew where Cinderella was. There was a library in town, kind of like we have a library here in Oconomowoc. So there was a library in town. That was all what she was looking forward to going to do. So, and I know this all sounds a little odd and weird, but do it, practice it, practice rehearsing these out, and that can help you visualize and think about what you're going to do. Then you have this still, and you also have the ones that I gave you in our our writing section, our writing tab in Google Classroom, where you can fill these things out. Okay, so make sure you're asking yourself what the next scene is as you're writing, and as you get finished with one scene, what's the next scene, and then what next small moments, next small steps do I need to tell. Okay, you guys are doing fabulous work. Keep it up, and make sure that you are noting your notes using your planning guide. You can always use it. If you fill one up, you can always make more, and you also have the one online in Google Classroom. Okay, fantastic work, and keep on working. Okay, awesome. Miss you guys.